This is an instructional video to install Bolt Motorcycle Hardware's chain blocks for KTM and Husenberg motorcycles. When you open the package, you'll find that when you fold out the label, there's a full set of written instructions. You'll also find your chain blocks. This block is for the nut side of the axle or the brake side of the swing arm, and this will be for the sprocket side of the swing arm. Remove the gray foam, and you'll find a special tool. This is an aluminum square nut to remove and replace the axle in the new chain block. First, you'll want to take out all of the stock hardware, including the axle nut, the axle, the chain blocks, the chain adjuster screws, and their jam nuts. Now we're ready to install our new chain blocks. On the brake side, take the chain block assembly, remove the black cap to expose the thread lube, insert the assembly into the swing arm pocket, and begin to thread it in. You'll want to thread it all the way in until you come to your approximate adjustment for your axle. On the sprocket side, we're going to install the chain adjuster screw only. Check the block fitment, key it into the screw to make sure you're at your approximate adjustment. Now to remove the axle from the chain block, the easiest way to do this is in a lathe. Chuck it in the lathe, hold the lathe brake, and spin the old block off of the axle using the same method to install the new axle. If you don't have access to a lathe, you can also do this in a vise. Wrap the chain blocks in a rag to protect them from damage in the jaws. Now take the square nut that was supplied in the package and spin it all the way down on the nut side of the axle until it reaches the bottom of the threads. Taking the axle nut, spin this all the way down until it touches the square nut. With this nut assembly installed, you can use a crescent wrench on the square nut and your axle wrench on the KTM nut and jam these two together. Go ahead and use quite a bit of force, as the square nut is softer material than the KTM parts and it won't damage them. While holding the nuts jammed, you can then spin them counterclockwise to loosen the axle from the chain block. Be sure to apply thread lock to the axle before installing your new axle block. Now, using the same method of holding the nuts jammed, you can spin the axle clockwise to tighten the axle to the chain block. When you're finished, place the crescent wrench on the bench, loosen the nut from the axle, and remove the nut assembly. Now your axle is ready to install in the motorcycle. Install the axle and key it into the chain adjuster screw. Replace your axle nut, but don't tighten it yet. You can now adjust your chain by turning the 10mm hexes on the chain adjuster screws. When you turn these, it will slide the axle blocks forward or back, giving you a precise adjustment. When you've found the proper adjustment, tighten the axle nut, and you're ready to go ride.